Joe Biden revealing more details about the way he plans to deal with the coronavirus crisis. Meanwhile, here at home, more vaccines and more chances to get your shot. We've got the latest coming up.
We're learning new details about a shooting on the west side, what police say may have led up to this incident.
Beautiful weekend on the way. Lots of sun, but some rain chances kick in next week. We've got to look at that 7-day forecast coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
Texas reaching a major milestone. It has become the first state to administer 1 million COVID-19 vaccines.
And those who qualify have more chances to get theirs. WellMed announcing 9,000 COVID-19 vaccination slots will be made available tomorrow. The clinics are administering the vaccines at Elvira Cisneros Senior Community Activity Center at 517 Southwest Military Drive and the Alicia Trevino Lopez Senior One-Stop Center at 8353 Culebra Road.
Now, here's who can get the vaccines. Healthcare workers, anyone age 65 and older, and adults 18 and older with chronic health conditions. The hotline will remain open tomorrow and will stay open from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. until appointments are filled. Here's the number again, 833-968-1745. But it will not be available until tomorrow morning at 8.
If phone lines are overwhelmed, you might hear a message that says that the number is out of service. All you have to do is just call back.
This noon, more people in our community mourning losses. The city says 19 more have lost their lives due to the coronavirus. 1,829 more people are now fighting the virus. And while our hospitals are still feeling the stress of threatening COVID-19 patients, there are less people that are hospitalized. For a third day in a row, we saw a dip in COVID-19 patients. According to yesterday's briefing, 1,407 COVID-19 patients are in the hospital, 382 are in the intensive care unit, and 231 are on ventilators.
President-elect Joe Biden unveiling his plan to help the country recover from the coronavirus. In addition to billions of dollars for vaccination efforts, Biden is now calling for bigger stimulus checks for Americans and a boost in the minimum wage. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Just 5 days to go until President-elect Joe Biden is sworn into office, and he's hitting the ground running.
Crisis of deep human suffering is in plain sight. And there's no time to waste. We have to act, and we have to act now.
Biden unveiling a massive nearly $2 trillion proposal, calling for an additional $1,400 in direct payment to most Americans on top of the $600 most just received, plus $130 billion to help schools reopen safely and $160 billion to build a national vaccine program and boost testing.
We'll have to move heaven and earth to get more people vaccinated, to create more places for them to get vaccinated, to mobilize more medical teams to get shots in people's arms.
The vaccine rollout right now sputtering along. 30 million vaccine doses have been distributed nationwide, but only 11 million first doses administered. Lines of cars stretching 2 miles long in Fresno, California, as people wait to get their shots. In some areas, doses are in stock, but appointments are not.
There was not 1 ounce of availability on any site.
They're telling us just go on the website and get it, and you go there, and it's a real chore to find something.
The U.S. death toll 25% higher this week than any other week since the pandemic began, according to the COVID tracking project. In L.A. County, a person is dying every 6 minutes. Ambulances gridlocked outside ERs.
Until more than 75% or so of the population is immunized against this deadly virus, it's just very, very important that all of us do the things that we know are effective in preventing transmission.
President-elect Biden has blasted the vaccine rollout so far, calling it a dismal failure and promising immediate change when he takes office. His goal is to reach 100 million shots in his first 100 days as president. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
New at noon, a member of the Texas House has now tested positive for coronavirus during the first week of the legislative session. State Representative Joe Desatel of Beaumont told the Texas Tribune he tested positive on Thursday. That's just 3 days after lawmakers gavelled in for this year's legislative session. Desatel says that he wore a mask on the floor and he did not have extended conversations with members of the House. At least 2 other state lawmakers say they will self-quarantine.
Lawmakers are just beginning the 87th session of the Texas legislature. They have to craft a budget with declining revenues as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Samuel King tells us whether that could mean added taxes or fees for drivers.
State leaders estimate that TxDOT has seen an almost $2 billion drop in revenues this budget year alone, and that has lawmakers scrambling for ideas to help fund transportation needs in the state. One idea involves the gas tax. It's the lowest among the 10 most populous states and hasn't been adjusted here in 30 years. House Transportation Committee Chairman Terry Canellis of Hidalgo County says it's time to tie the tax to inflation, something that's done in 22 other states.
I'm not a fan of raising taxes in any form or fashion, but someone's got to pay for the roads we drive on. And so the fact is oil and gas industry and those revenues can't shoulder the ever-growing need for infrastructure.
He also supports proposals to add a new registration fee for electric vehicle owners who pay less in taxes. He also says trucking companies should pay their fair share.
They don't pay within their licensing and registration fees. They do not pay anywhere nearly what they consume. So Texas ostensibly subsidizes transportation for big rigs.
And the state's population is still expected to double by 2050, and there's only so many roads that can be built. So Canales says leaders need to find ways to invest in things like mass transit and even bullet trains in the coming years. Samuel King, KSAT 12 News.
New at noon, a vicious assault caught on camera and shared with police. And now 2 people are facing charges in connection with this violent act. Police say that 23-year-old Zachary Taylor Wiatrek and 27-year-old Aurelio Elizondo Jr. were booked for aggravated assault, serious bodily injury. Officers tell us the victim was attacked in the 9500 block of Parambital back on January 7th. Video of the assault was posted on the SAPD Facebook page. The victim survived his injuries. Police say additional charges may be filed. New at noon, we have new details after a 43-year-old man was shot and then left at a fire station on the west side.
Yeah, police telling us an argument may have led to that shooting. Officers tell us the victim was dropped off at a fire station in the 500 block of South Hamilton last night. However, the shooting actually happened a couple of miles away in the 100 block of Pesci Street. That's just west of I-10. The victim was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds to his left shoulder and right thigh.
Officers were able to find the shooting scene after a witness called and reported hearing people arguing, then gunshots. Police say they did find multiple shell casings on Pesci Street. This noon, officers are still looking for whoever is responsible.
A dramatic end to a crash on the northeast side. A car ended up upside down. However, those inside were not seriously hurt. Police say the crash happened just before midnight on I-35 near Starlight Terrace. Officers tell us that the driver in the car was heading northbound and was weaving between 18-wheelers. The driver clipped one and then rolled into another truck. So far, police think that driver may have been speeding. After that last second upset win over number 4 Texas, now Texas Tech getting ready for number 2 Baylor. Larry Mears has a preview coming up.
Holiday lights along the Riverwalk. It's a San Antonio tradition and one that we were able to hold on to amid the pandemic. But the city's not quite ready to take down the magical scene just yet. After the break, how much longer the lights will be up and what the city hopes the festive display will provide to our community. If you've taken a stroll down the famous San Antonio Riverwalk, you might have noticed a lot more sparkle.
Holiday lights have attracted visitors along the Riverwalk for decades, but those lights will be staying up a little longer than normal.
That's right. Stephen Cabrasa shows us how this tradition is shedding some light in a community after a very dark year.
It's a familiar and enchanting sight. These holiday lights adding a little bit of magic along the San Antonio Riverwalk, but it's not something you would usually see in mid-January.
This year, we decided to extend the length that we have them on.
Executive Director of the San Antonio Riverwalk Association, Maggie Thompson, says it's in an effort to lift up spirits after COVID-19 led to a difficult year. But she hopes by keeping these lights on, it will give people a sense of joy that usually comes with the holidays.
We're thrilled that it's so special and such a memorable tradition to so many visitors.
There are over 200 cypress trees that are decorated and 2,250 strings of lights. And if you're all about the numbers, that's over 100,000 light bulbs, all of which will stay up through Valentine's Day. Thompson says that could lead to some big questions.
Maybe we'll get a record number of proposals down on the Riverwalk that night. That would be kind of fun.
Thompson says the Riverwalk has always been a place where memories are made, and she hopes these lights will give people another reason to smile when they look back.
I love the thought of people calling it magical because the Riverwalk itself is that way, even without the lights, but it just enhances the experience.
Now, it's not clear if this will be an ongoing tradition here in the Alamo City, but the San Antonio Riverwalk Association says we could soon see programmable lights in the near future. Thompson says whatever happens, it will still be a magical experience. Reporting here on the San Antonio Riverwalk, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
Outside with live cam, it's great to be outside and enjoy the Riverwalk.
Yeah, look at that. There's not a cloud in the sky, Justin.
No clouds today, no clouds tomorrow. The wind is still up a little bit today, but that'll calm some tomorrow too. So great weekend on the way. That's fantastic news. The aquifers up 0.2 of a foot to 665.2. And your pollen count, that's just great news. Mountain cedars in the high category, it's at 8,790, basically doubled from where it was yesterday. Then mold, for whatever reason, jumped up today. It's at 1,600. Hopefully those numbers will go down. We'll talk about the weekend forecast, some rain chances too next week. That's coming up.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
Chamber of Commerce weekend.
Yes, and it's Friday, and everybody's smiling. We made it through the week.
Yeah, it felt like a long week, didn't it? Yes, we made it to the weekend. We're going to get good weather this weekend, that's for sure. One thing I was sort of interested in looking at, we've got some big playoff games tomorrow in the NFL. Ooh, what does the weather look like up there in Green Bay? My hope is that it would be snowy because it is winter. It's Green Bay. You would expect there to be some snow, and guess what? There will be. Not during the game, though. Maybe early in the day, and then as we get towards game time, Rams, Packers, probably just cloudy and cold, 35 degrees. What about Buffalo? You would expect there to be snow there, too, this time of year. And guess what? There will be. 34 degrees, some snow coming down, Ravens and Bills. That's at 7:15. So maybe we'll be watching a little bit of snow in some of those games tomorrow. No snow here. 58 degrees right now, mostly sunny. Northerly winds at about 15 miles per hour. Gusts to 23. So it is breezy out there. Not a cloud in the sky. Temperature-wise, 60 Castroville, 52 Bernie Stage, 57 Randolph, 60 up there in New Braunfels, 58 in Seguin, 50 Rock Springs, 56 in Del Rio. So everybody's in the 50s at this point. We still had some 40s last hour up in Hill Country, but we're starting to warm up. We should see 60s here this afternoon. Wind gusts up to around 23 miles per hour here in San Antonio, gusting to 23 in Gonzales, 23 Fredericksburg. Those numbers are actually coming down a little bit from where they were earlier, but if you're going to see some big-time gusts, it's going to be to the north and east of San Antonio, and that's where there is a wind advisory until 6 o'clock. Places like Austin, Bryan College Station, even towards Houston, that's where they can see gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Computer model shows the strongest gusts up there around Austin and College Station. But as we get into tonight, these winds will calm, and that's going to lead to some cold temperatures tomorrow morning. Close to freezing here in San Antonio. We're forecasting 33, but it's possible the outlying areas down to 32. New Braunfels, Gonzales, Hondo, Kerrville, Fredericksburg, all places that can drop below freezing tomorrow. So a heads up there. Dew points are low, and it's one of the reasons we'll see some cold temperatures tomorrow, at least tomorrow morning, and then it will warm up nicely during the afternoon. Humidity will be on the increase starting Monday, and then it sticks around Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There will be enough moisture in the atmosphere where I think we're going to get some good showers and maybe some thunderstorms. It's looking better and better. Our first system, which is now sitting over the Midwest here, will eventually move away. That's producing some blizzard-like conditions up there across parts of Iowa this afternoon. Our next system's out in the Pacific, and this energy will eventually drop south into the desert Southwest. So here's how it plays out. First system moves away. We've got another system that works its way down across the Great Lakes, and that pulls a weak front through on Sunday. No big deal for us. Doesn't really do much for our forecast. But as we get into Tuesday, that's when this low starts to drop south. That's when we start to tap into the moisture. And here we go. Showers and a few storms. This is a pretty decent setup for us. And again, I think there is enough moisture in the atmosphere where we could get some pretty good rainfall totals. It's a little early to pinpoint when and where at this particular moment, but I think in that time frame, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll have an opportunity for that. 61 degrees today, sunny, and then temperatures falling off into the 40s and 30s tonight. And then tomorrow, 65 and sunny. Can't beat that. 64 Sunday, partly cloudy. We'll see partly cloudy skies for MLK Day on Monday, 69. And then look for 40% chance of rain Tuesday, Wednesday, 30% chance there on Thursday. Guys.
Looks like great weather for the march.
Yes.
So no frozen tundra in Green Bay this weekend? No frozen tundra.
Warm tundra.
Lambeau Field. That'll be good, though. The Spurs were like frozen last night. They were cold.
Yeah, especially, the last 4.5 minutes when they were up by 9, and then the Rockets come back to win. All I know is don't be out to lunch during a Spurs game with Coach Pop on the bench. I'll tell you, though, DeMar came close to knocking down the game-tying shot. And the Rockets, well, they really needed that win as they move forward from James Harden coming up.
It's got nothing to do with defense, offense. It has to do with between the ears and being ready to play. And we had 4 or 5 guys that were out to lunch.
I sure hope that lunch was worth it. Pop wasn't happy with some of his guys last night in Big Board Sports.
Because he likes you.
After missing 2 games for personal reasons, DeMar was back for the Spurs last night to face the Houston Rockets. In first quarter, he gets the reverse layup and 1. He scored 13 points on 5 of 14 field goals, so an off night for him indeed. Second-year forward Keldon Johnson continues to shine, leading the Spurs with a career-high 29 points last night. He made 12 of 16 from the floor, getting some close looks like layups and slam dunks. The Spurs had a 9-point lead with 4:39 left in the game, and they couldn't protect it. Final second, Spurs are down 2. DeMar drives looking for the tie, and he misses a shot that he normally makes at a high rate. Game over. Spurs lose to the Rockets 109-105.
They played from the first quarter to the fourth. They played harder. Just that simple. We weren't knocking down shots. Still a little bit winded, I guess, but it was just all effort.
We just had a couple breakdowns, and we didn't execute like we should have. But we're back at it on Saturday, so hopefully we come on Saturday ready to play and ready to get after them.
Last night capped off a crazy few days for the Rockets, and it all started Tuesday night when James Harden said this team wasn't good enough after losing to the Lakers. Harden was traded the next day. The Rockets had something to prove while picking up their first road win this season.
I mean, the whole team came together. I guess you could look at it as a blessing in disguise. Today we all played together. Everybody was playing hard. Jayshawn Tate came in and he played his butt off, man. After that last game against the Lakers, and then we just drew the line there. We came together, we talked about it, and I mean it was displayed tonight. Just our togetherness, our junkyard dog mentality, and that's what we wanted from the start of this season.
Spurs and Rockets will do it again tomorrow, 4 p.m. at the AT&T Center. Guard Mac McClung made a long jumper with 3 seconds left Wednesday night to help number 15 Texas Tech win at number 4 Texas 79-77. McClung finished with 22 points. Now the Red Raiders are getting ready for number 2 in the land, the 11-0 Baylor Bears. Time to bring the energy once again.
Yeah, I think that was emphasized. Bring our own energy, and we take pride in our enthusiasm on the bench, and I think that helps us a lot on the court. So, I think it'll be big, and also we're glad to be back here during this game.
Tech will play against Baylor tomorrow afternoon at 3.
Go Tech.
Yep.
You got to watch that one, then you got to flip over and watch the Spurs. So the Spurs don't have to worry about going out to lunch tomorrow because they'll miss the game because it's at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
So no lunch tomorrow. That's a good thing for them.
Dinner.
Hey, if you're ready to file your taxes and you want to do it for free, it's about that time. What you need to know coming up in the next half hour of
In the wake of the deadly assault on the Capitol, alarming new warnings about possible violent threats in the week ahead. We have details about that after the break. Massive security preparations underway in Washington, D.C. ahead of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration next week.
The FBI warning of new violent threats. This as suspects accused of being involved in the Capitol mob continue to be arrested.
ABC's Elizabeth Schultz is in Washington with the latest.
In the wake of the deadly assault on the Capitol, alarming new warnings about possible violent threats in the week ahead.
We are seeing an extensive amount of concerning online chatter, I guess the best way I would describe it, about a number of events surrounding the inauguration.
The FBI is currently investigating a mix of suspected radicals it believes were present at the insurrection, who may be planning more violence. Supporters of QAnon, white supremacists, the Boogaloo, and Nazi sympathizers. And a new FBI bulletin obtained by ABC News warns of possible substantial danger from explosive devices during upcoming protests. For the first time since the attack on the Capitol, jarring accounts from officers on the front lines, like 32-year-old Daniel Hodges. His gas mask was ripped off and he was crushed in the doorway by a riotous mob.
I got pinned through the small back and forth we had, fighting for every inch. There's nothing I can do to defend myself at this point, so I just started screaming top of my lungs for them to give me a way out.
The FBI says more than 100 arrests have been made in the wake of the Capitol attack. Robert Sanford, a retired firefighter from Pennsylvania, under arrest accused of lobbing a fire extinguisher at police. The lawyer for this man seen wearing horns in last week's attack telling CNN his client was following President Trump's orders.
He loved Trump, every word. He listened to him. He felt like he was answering the call of our president.
And we've just learned the Department of Justice Inspector General, along with the Departments of Defense, Interior, and Homeland Security, are reviewing their agencies' actions leading up to and including the day of the siege of the Capitol. Elizabeth Schultz, ABC News, Washington.
President-elect Joe Biden is hoping his latest administration pick will help speed up the vaccine rollout. Today, the president-elect tapped Dr. David Kessler to lead federal vaccine efforts. Kessler is moving up from his current role as co-chair of the Transitions Coronavirus Task Force. In his new role, he'll help lead Operation Warp Speed, a vaccine development group started by the Trump administration. This is Kessler's third federal appointment. He previously led the U.S. Food and Drug Administration under Presidents George W. Bush and Bill Clinton. And speaking of the pandemic, it's hitting the U.S. so hard that it is lowering the average American's life expectancy. According to a study by the National Academy of Sciences, the average lifetime for an American is being reduced by 1 year and about 6 weeks. For African Americans, the life expectancy has been reduced by a little over 2 years and 3 years for Latinos. The pandemic is wiping out all the progress made in the black-white life expectancy gap since 2006. This follows a 2-year drop in American life expectancy caused by the opioid pandemic.
Walgreens planning to have vaccinated 95% of its assigned nursing homes by January 25th. Walgreens, along with CVS and Managed Healthcare Associates, working with the government to administer vaccines to residents and staff at more than 75,000 long-term care facilities across the country. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 4.7 million vaccines have been delivered to nursing homes and long-term care facilities, but only 1.2 million doses have been administered nationwide. Walgreens says that could partly be because of hesitancy to get the vaccine. If you already want to start working on your taxes, you can. The Internal Revenue Service's free file is open. The service is available to anyone who makes an adjusted gross income of $72,000 or less. The IRS works with private companies to help Americans prepare and file their taxes. And even though it's free, a government audit found that 14 million people ended up paying for their 2019 filings.
Outside with live cam. Remember last weekend we had the snow on Sunday, and just wasn't a great weekend. This weekend's going to be fantastic, so you can get outside and enjoy.
Mid-60s, middle of January, you can't complain about that. The weekend does look great. Of course, the one thing that we've been talking about that we're not so happy to see is the Mount Cedar. Numbers jumped up today. In fact, they doubled from yesterday. We're at 8,790. You see the peak there. We typically reach our peak about the end of January, mid to end of January, and then things start to fall off by Valentine's Day. So we're getting there, but we may have to get through a couple more weeks here with these higher numbers. And when we see these gusty winds like we've seen last couple of days, it's certainly going to kick up those Mount Cedar counts. Current temperatures across the state: 58 in San Antonio, 50 in San Angelo. Still got some 40s up in the Texas Panhandle, but a lot of clear skies to go around. Temperatures will rebound a little bit this afternoon. We're thinking mid-60s or at least low 60s here in San Antonio for highs. This is a look at the wind gusts across the state, and still very windy for much of North Texas, but also for parts of our area too. We have a wind advisory in places like Lavaca County until 6 o'clock today, where winds could gust as high as 30-35 miles per hour. It will be breezy here in San Antonio, some gusts around 25 miles per hour. Those winds calm tonight, will fall to around 55 at 6 o'clock and down to 51 at 8 o'clock. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. A face mask, unlike most others, comes with some extra features, aiming to give those who wear it peace of mind. Alicia Barrera gives us a closer look. Still ahead.
Remember professional basketball player Grant Hill? He got thrown into the fire last night with that interview with Greg Popovich between the third and fourth quarters of the TNT broadcast. Says he's pretty nervous. How it came out, coming up in sports.
Amazon CEO continuing to shoot for the stars. Jeff Bezos' private space company just finished another test flight. But when could a mission with a crew inside take place? Details after the break.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather. Streaming free on KSAT TV.
Hello, everyone. This is your daily tech and business briefing from Cheddar. Bitcoin gaining ground again despite taking a plunge less than a week ago. The crypto flirting with record highs as it climbs back towards the $40,000 mark. Now, it's been a bumpy week for Bitcoin after the digital currency plunged to as low as $30,000, which was close to a 20% dip. Meanwhile, Costco doing away with their photo department. The retailer announcing they're going to close all of their in-store photo departments as of Valentine's Day. They're no longer going to offer services like ink refills and passport photos, but they'll still allow shoppers to place online orders for delivery. And Jeff Bezos taking a page out of Elon Musk's book, and it's shooting for the stars. Bezos' private space company, Blue Origin, reportedly gearing up to carry out their first crewed mission. This after years of developing and testing. The company is planning to launch the first passengers into space sometime by early April. And that's your Cheddar Business and Tech Update. I'm Baker Machado, coming to you from Cheddar Studios in Lower Manhattan.
Back here at home, we're keeping an eye on a traffic situation that has knocked 410 down to one lane. This is at Rolling Ridge at 410. This is right around Evers, west of I-10.
Yeah, I think that's the exit for Bandera. It's that real long exit when you're going south on 410 right there at Evers. So you can see that there was another angle shot we had a second ago, and it showed that the tow truck was there trying to get a couple of cars out of the way. But for right now, that is a mess at 410 and Rolling Ridge, right around the Evers area.
Yeah, 4 lanes blocked, one lane moving. So you might want to avoid that area. Meantime, San Antonio startup is providing peace of mind for those on the front lines of a pandemic who are in need of medical grade equipment. It's also providing job security for those in the electronic and manufacturing industry.
Just Air recently launched a special face mask that comes with extra features. Alicia Barrera spoke with one local dentist about how the product has helped him and his practice.
At first glance, it looks like any other face mask, but take a listen. That's the sound of a blower pack strapped around Dr. Dentist Philip Miner's waist that houses the air purifying respiratory system and allows Miner to breathe easily while completing procedures less than 2 feet away from a patient's mouth.
I'm going to tilt you back here a bit. It just basically eliminates a lot of the issues as far as contaminants coming in the mask and contaminants going out of the mask. So it has an inflow and an outflow.
Miner says it was easy to get used to and actually prefers the Just Air face mask over surgical ones for 2 simple reasons.
And the main thing is it keeps me cool too, and I don't fog up with my scope.
So how does the technology work?
The air that they exhale is being filtered through a panel in the front of the mask. Just Air is the only one that actually filters the exhaled air.
To be exact, 99.7% of pathogens are filtered. That's according to tests performed by the filter's manufacturers, a percentage that has allowed Dr. Miner's practice to remain open.
This device has helped us feel more confident in delivering patient care, being safe for our patients, being safe for our teams, and safe for our families ultimately.
That was Alicia Barrera reporting.
You can hear the drill.
We didn't want to hear the drill at all. Didn't need to
Not
hear
a great
that.
sound.
Today, no pain.
No, it is gorgeous out there. We got clear skies right now. It has been a little bit breezy from time to time today, but those winds will die down, especially tomorrow. 58 so far today. We eventually will get into the 60s this afternoon. The low this morning, it wasn't all that cold. 42, that's actually right about on average, and we'll be looking at about an average high. Records are 81 and 11 set back in 1894 and 1888, so we got to go way back for those. Again, good weather this weekend, but rain chances next week. Some good-looking rain chances. We have the latest coming up.
Have we got deals for you? Welcome to KSATdeals.com. This item is already one of our most popular, a new one-year Sam's Club membership. This yearly membership is typically $45, but not today. It's only $28.88. And you get this for free, the Sam's Club seasoned rotisserie chicken and the 8-count gourmet cupcakes. Now, there are some important details and steps that you'll need to follow. After your KSAT Deals purchase, you'll get a confirmation email to redeem your purchase. Use the link to finalize your membership. Enter your information and activate your membership. Watch for your confirmation email, and once you've done this, you can pick up your membership card at the nearest Sam's Club. Now, be sure to read the email confirmation and sign up now to start saving lots of money. The KSAT Deals price on this, $28.88. Head over to KSATdeals.com for this one and many more.
All right, so this weekend, if you haven't done it yet, you really do need to get your Christmas decorations down.
No, come on.
Well, I think my husband took ours down 2 days ago, so there's still people out there.
Okay. There's still a few.
And the city's keeping their lights up on the Riverwalk.
Listen, I'm not judging because, you know, they still look pretty, and we need something pretty to look at these days. But it is a good weekend to be outside and do whatever you got to do because it's going to turn out to be beautiful. Mid-60s on Saturday, probably about the same on Sunday. We've got beautiful blue skies today. Temperatures right now, 58 degrees at the airport. A degree cooler at Stinson and Randolph, and you notice the winds there out of the north, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. They have been gusty, but not as strong as yesterday. We had a wind gust around 35 yesterday afternoon. 52 right now, Bernie Stage, 56 Comfort, 58 Rio Medina, 61 in Castroville, 59 in Hondo, and checking in at 60 right now, New Braunfels, 60 Kennedy, 61 Gonzales. So temperatures are trying to warm up here. I think a lot of spots will be in the 60s a little bit later today. We mentioned those winds gusting somewhere around 20, 25 miles per hour. Last observations, Kerrville, San Antonio, down to Gonzales. Now, you'll notice down to the south and west of San Antonio, there's not a lot of wind. Winds have calmed there significantly, and the strongest winds are going to be across our far eastern counties here over the remainder of the afternoon. Wind advisory goes until 6 o'clock today. That does include Lavaca County. This area is shaded in brown here, and that's where the strongest winds will likely be. Now, once the winds die down tonight, and we've got clear skies, dry air, you know the drill. Those temperatures will fall fairly fast, and we're expecting to get down close to freezing here in San Antonio, 30 in Hondo, 27 Kerrville, 27 in Fredericksburg. So it's another one of those nights where we'll be right there at the freezing mark, well, especially by tomorrow morning. Dew point wise, the air just keeps getting drier. We're now down into some single digits, which, again, as I said a couple times before this winter, this is about as dry as it gets here in South Texas when you get these single digit dew points. And we'll see that dry air really kind of stay in place through the weekend before the moisture really starts to surge back in next week. We've got a big upper level low spinning up there across the Midwest and the Great Lakes, a lot of snow. and blowing snow at that. Places like Omaha seeing that snow, St. Louis up to Chicago, even Detroit seeing some snow out of this big system there. As far as the drought goes, we talked a little bit yesterday about how there is still a drought in our area, but we had some improvement with the recent rains. Most of the western half of the country still in desperate need of some rain, and I think we're going to have some chances going forward, not only for us, but for parts of the desert Southwest, which is great news. So that big upper level low moves east. We got another little system working through the Great Lakes on Sunday. That's just enough to pull in a bit of cloud cover and maybe a weak frontal boundary here into South Texas, but not a big deal. By Monday, we're watching a new system develop. Still no rain, but this system will drop south. And then by Tuesday, we will start to see showers and storms across our area. In addition, we'll probably have a front sinking south. So a lot of ingredients coming together here, not to mention we'll have quite a bit of moisture in the atmosphere. So all this working together will allow for some showers and storms not only Tuesday, but I think Wednesday and maybe even into Thursday. So it's looking a little more promising. Forecast for today, 61 degrees, sunny, and then watch those numbers fall off quickly tonight. 47 by 9 o'clock, 45 by 11 p.m., and then down to 33 tomorrow morning. 65 on Saturday, 64 Sunday, 69 on Monday, and then chances of rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, guys.
All right, Justin, thank you.
We miss fans in the stands, but when you watch Keldon Johnson play and the way he goes to the hoop, and I mean, you know the people would just be erupting all night long.
They would definitely probably be going crazy for him in the same way they did when Manu would go throw it down. Because Keldon Johnson is equally as exciting. Last night he scored a career high 29 points. And you know what? He also has a great attitude as well. And an NFL team is looking at Cowboys OC Kellen Moore coming up.
Well, I really don't know what to ask you. So is there anything you want to talk about, Coach?
I'll stay away from politics for a change.
I just want to know for my dinner later tonight, what complements a steak best, a Cabernet or a Syrah?
Do you get to go to dinner? My rule, I have to go home. They told me when the game's over, you go home, you have to stay home. And you get to go to dinner?
Yeah, order delivery, Coach.
Okay, if you're going to have a hell of a steak, go ahead. If you haven't had too much Syrah, go get a Penfolds from Australia. It's great stuff.
TNT basketball analyst Grant Hill did it the right way during his in-game interview with Coach Pop in Big Board Sports. Houston's first game without James Harden turned out pretty good for the Rockets. Christian Wood had 27 points and 15 rebounds to help the Rockets rally past the Spurs 109-105 for their first road win this season. Spurs forward Keldon Johnson scored a career-best 29 to lead the Spurs' offensive attack. After the loss, he said, all you can do is move on.
Bounce back. I mean, it's the next game. We can't get this one back. It's over. So we're on to the next game, and we're ready to go. Back to the drawing board. We can't sob about it. We can't be down about it. We just got to go out there and get the next one.
Was there almost relief to have moved past all that?
I wouldn't say it's relief because that would just be me putting it on one person. I don't think, what was going on, our slow start to the season is all blamed on one person. We all, at the end of the day, got to look ourselves in the mirror and see and ask ourselves, what can we do to better this team? Not just, one person, being traded. Not everything's going to click. That's not how this league works.
Spurs will host the Rockets tomorrow at 4 p.m., looking for their second home win this season. Now, prior to tip-off last night, Spurs forward Rudy Gay was asked what he thought about the new and more stringent COVID-19 health and safety protocols that came into place on Monday that included staying in their hotels with no outside guests while on the road, wearing masks in locker room meetings limited to 10 minutes only, and wearing masks while on the bench during games.
At the end of the day, it's about safety. I think that's the most important part, not just for us, our families, staff, everybody. And not just the staff and everything. We travel from state to state for the United States of America. We all got to do our part, and that's the way we're doing our part, I guess.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
And the Philadelphia Eagles have asked permission to speak to Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore about their vacant head coaching position. This comes after the Eagles fired Doug Peterson and Moore signed a 3-year contract extension to stay with the boys after he flirted with the idea and interviewed for the head coach gig at his alma mater, Boise State. But just because he signed his extension with the boys, he can still talk to the Eagles about a head coaching position.
Educational sportscast. No crying in baseball, no sobbing in basketball.
Yeah, you can't sob about it.
Can't sob in basketball.
And a good Shiraz.
Yes.
Always good at the end of the game.
Yes.
There you go.
Like
Perfect.
that.
Probably a little too pricey for me.
I don't know. Penfolds isn't that pricey.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No.
Well, I guess I need to look into
That
it.
was a good tip.
Informative show.
Yeah, so is SA Live.
Always.
Guess what day it is?
Don't
Yes, it is National Bagel Day, and ooh, look at that, baby. We're going to be doing that. But bagels are more than just bagels and schmear. And Christy Swallow is here from Boss Bagel, and you have got, oh my goodness
I have
gracious.
the Cuban sandwich. It's our special sandwich we're running this week.
Ooh, that looks really
ham,
good.
pork belly, Swiss cheese, homemade pickles.
And there's a trick to slicing the bagel. We're going to learn all about that and some secrets to it as well. What we're going to be eating. Jen, what's going on?
Yes, I'm here with Jada Rashawn. She is professional nanny, lifestyle expert, and we're doing all things Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and that includes some fun crafts, right, Jada?
Yes, we are going to have some fun creative ways to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
I can't wait, and I've never seen these, by the way, and these are Colors of the World crayons and markers for all different skin colors, so I'm excited about these, Jada, and everything else too. Speaking of kids, Mike?
You know, with kids, you always want to keep them nice and fit, but so you usually say put down the phone. But in this case, there is a new app, really creative, that is going to help to get kids nice and active and fit. We're going to tell you all about it.
Plus a makeover for a very deserving young lady. We have that coming up from a salon out of Universal City. Wait till you hear her story and wait till you see her transformation. I'm so excited about that.
Always love those. And we've got some really interesting video for you. A superhero outfit that a woman made. So we want to know, have you ever done a superhero outfit?
Or do you have a kid that was attached to something even? Because mine was the Batman cape. All right, all that and more coming up on SA Live.
I had one of those too.